After months of training, countless runs, a lot of endorphins, and a few complaints, I ran my first half marathon on April 2nd, 2023. Here's how it went. Hello you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alyssa. If you are new, happy half marathon weekend. It is Friday night. I'm about to go and pick up some pizza for us. We are going to stay in and chill tonight, have some pizza, and then tomorrow we are heading down to Miami. We need to pick up our bibs and stuff sometime in the afternoon, and then we are staying in a hotel tomorrow night just to be closer to where the race starts. And then the race is Sunday morning. So I wanted to just intro the video here because I figured that I probably was going to forget, but I'm going to try and film as much of this weekend and the race and stuff as I can, and then afterward I'll probably give my thoughts and all of that. But first we need to get through the race. But welcome to the video. I hope that you guys enjoy. Let's go get some pizza. I had to take a peek at the pizza in the car, but we got it from Mr. 01 and here's what it's looking like. Happy Saturday. I am all packed up. We're about to head out. I'm just wearing a little exercise dress and my Hokas. I've got my bag here and we are heading out. We just checked in. We're staying at the Hilton Garden Inn Brickell South, I think it's called, but we picked up our t-shirts and packets and stuff before this. It was a really quick thing. Apparently this is a pretty small half marathon, but it was so pretty. I can't wait to show you guys the views and more tomorrow, but I think I'm just going to unpack a little bit, get organized, and I will take you guys along. Here is a little room tour. We got the front door, and then we have the bathroom here. Well, mirror. And a little balcony. Let's go. Just unpacking some of our stuff. Number 385. Here is the shirts that we got. Super simple. I'll probably end up cropping this and just working out in it, but I'm definitely here for the t-shirt. We just got pizzas delivered. Yes, pizza. Again. This half marathon is fueled by pizza, apparently.
Race day.
Race day.
At all? Do you think about the things we used to do? No, you couldn't stand tall. So why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all, but why didn't you call? Something in the air, always something in.
We did it! Woo!
Woo!
Hello you guys, we are back in Fort Lauderdale. It is 2:30 on Sunday and we did it. We finished the half marathon. Was it the fastest time in the world? No, but honestly all I was looking to do was cross the finish line. without an injury, and I can successfully say that that is what I did. And honestly, I feel really good. I'm a little sore, but that is to be expected. I think we're gonna go soak in the hot tub because that sounds like the best way to spend the rest of today. But I will talk more about the half marathon later in this video, but for now we're gonna go enjoy ourselves, celebrate a little bit. We went to brunch after the race and we all got burgers, we got a drink, and just kind of relaxed, and now we're gonna go do some more of that. Hello you guys, we are officially about 2 weeks post marathon, and I wanted to just sit down and chat with you guys about my experience, my, I guess, running history, how I felt, if I would do it again, all of that stuff. We are going to have just a casual chat. I am here sitting on the floor of my apartment. I have no makeup on. We're just going to have a casual little chat. I mean, you guys already saw what I looked like running a marathon, so I'm just going to give you guys some details and kind of have this for myself to look back on. I really didn't prepare a whole lot for this, so we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to try and keep this as short and sweet as possible while still giving a good amount of detail. So anyway, if you are new, hello, my name's Alyssa. I mostly do just lifestyle vlogs on my channel, but I recently ran my first marathon on April 2nd, 2023. It is now April 18th. It's a Tuesday, so we are 2 weeks and 2 days post half marathon. I am 26 years old, and like I said, this was my first half marathon. So a little bit of backstory: I have never been much of a runner by any means. I have always been active. I grew up playing sports. I mostly played soccer, basketball, and softball. I ended up quitting soccer my sophomore year of high school after playing all of my life. It just was not really my thing. I was a midfielder, which involved a lot of running, and I just never really loved long distance running. I did do track for a little bit in middle school, but once again, I stayed in the events under 400 meters. I actually did hurdles, and then I played basketball and softball. I was a guard in basketball and center fielder in softball, so I was always more quick rather than an endurance athlete. And yeah, that was the running that I did in high school and college. I ran a little bit. I would pretty much force myself to run a mile at the beginning of all of my workouts just because I thought that it was good for me and whatever. So I ran about a mile, and then I would just do weights and stuff at the gym, nothing crazy. And then after college, I graduated and didn't start my full-time job for about a month or so. After graduation, my boyfriend Jacob, who I will be talking a little bit about in this video, at the time, and I were doing a long distance. So basically I made it a goal to run 3 miles every day. I went to this park near my house and I ran 3 miles every day, and that was probably the most that I have run kind of at a time and consistently. And then I've been dating Jacob for almost 5 years. Him and his family are definitely runners, so he's kind of always been into running. I think he said he's run about 6 or 7 half marathons, and so he just enjoys that. He's done quite a few of them, so I have kind of been hearing him talk about them. He's been wanting me to do one for what feels like forever. He actually ran one last February. He ran the Gasparilla Half Marathon in Tampa in February of 2022. He tried to get me to do that one, and I just really wasn't interested. And then somewhere between then and now, I agreed to do one. So we signed up for the Key Biscayne Half Marathon. That was like I said, April 2nd of 2023. I can't even remember exactly when we signed up for it. I want to say it was November or December, maybe December, because I remember we kind of very loosely started training, and then I'm from New Jersey, Jacob's from Delaware. We both went to the University of Delaware, so we were going home for the holidays. We were going up north, and I just remember telling him, like, there is just no way that I am going to be running and training when we were up there. I work from home, so I knew I was going to be working from home while I was there, trying to spend time with friends and family. It gets dark so early up there, so I was just like, there is no way that I am going to be training basically while I'm up there. And so we were not off to a great start. He didn't end up training too much at the time either, because we had -15 degrees. It was crazy temperatures when we were up there. But basically, once I came back in the new year in January, we kind of cracked down and trained a bit. Overall, I feel like looking back, I didn't train super intensely. I kind of just slowly built up my mileage. Obviously, that's what you're supposed to do, but I really don't think I trained super hard. Now looking back, we were going to try and not drink any alcohol, obviously keep our diets pretty clean. We already eat pretty healthy, so that really wasn't too hard. But by the end of it, I'm gonna be honest, we were enjoying drinks and doing everything. We kind of were just living a normal life, knowing that we still had to run this half marathon, which is kind of also what I wanted. I just knew that I was not going to be someone who this became their whole life. I liked the idea that I can do everything I was already doing in my normal life, and on top of that, run a half marathon. I was like, that's kind of cool. So that's kind of the approach that I took. I didn't want it to be all consuming. But we did do dry January, and then I feel like February was like the bulk of my training. I started in January probably at like 1.5 to 2 miles at a time, maybe 3-ish days a week, and eventually built up more and more. Honestly, I can't even remember my entire training plan. I was kind of just going based off of what Jacob was telling me. And so if I were you and you are also a beginner, I would just look up on Google like beginner half marathon training plan and kind of go from there. But I only ended up running about 7 or 8 miles at a time. So that was my longest run. I say 7 or 8 because when we were running, I was using a Fitbit, Jacob was using an Apple Watch. We were checking the Strava app sometimes, but basically we were kind of getting different distances every time, so we really didn't know whose was the most accurate. So around 7 or 8 miles, I was hoping that I was going to get up to 10 miles before the race, but that just didn't happen. But yeah, and then kind of come March, honestly, we had friends visit. We were, like I said, just kind of living our normal life. I definitely started to get a little bit nervous towards the end, like, have I trained enough, all this stuff. But obviously I did notice a huge improvement in myself from the beginning, when I was only running 1.5 miles or 2 miles at a time, to when I was consistently doing 4, 5, 6, 7 miles each time I went out for a run, multiple times per week. So yeah, that's kind of that. And then once the race day came around, like I said, I was a little bit nervous, but I was also very ready for it to be over. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but like I said, I did the Key Biscayne half marathon. It was in, I think it was called Creighton Park, something like that. I'll have it here on the screen, but it was basically a state park in South Florida. Jacob and I live in Fort Lauderdale right now. And so it was a local half marathon and it was beautiful. But sorry, my memory card was full, so hopefully that didn't change my position too much. But basically it was a little bit hotter than expected, but also South Florida in April, we definitely knew that it was going to be hot. The race started at 7 a.m. And in terms of the course, once again, this was my first one, so I really didn't have anything to compare it to. I was just there to cross the finish line. That is really it, but the course did have a lot of turns. We were prepared for that based on the emails that they had sent us prior, but it definitely got confusing at times. I think what happened at one point in the race is one of the signs got turned around and it just confused a lot of people. There was a worker on his bike screaming or riding after people, telling them that they were going the wrong way, and so it just got a little bit confusing because of how many turns and stuff we did have to make. Also, it was a pretty small, there's people running in the hallway. Also, it was a pretty small half marathon. I think there was only 700 people. Sorry if I already mentioned that. When my memory card got full, I kind of forget if I already mentioned this, but I think it was about 700 people total. So there were times that you were running and you really weren't near anybody, especially towards the end. And so I just feel like if you were running a bigger half marathon, there would be more people cheering you on throughout, and you probably just wouldn't get as, not lost, but like lost or confused. So just something to keep in mind. We actually got an email from the company that said that they are already updating the course for 2024. So clearly it was a problem for a bunch of people since they have already sent that out to us, but it was overall really beautiful. It was near the beach, lots of palm trees. It was shady at times. It was very buggy. I got so many mosquito bites. I probably had 25 mosquito bites by the time that I was done, but that's just not something that I was thinking about. Obviously, I could have brought bug spray. I just was not thinking about that. So that is pretty much all I feel like I can remember from the course. In terms of what I wore, I just quickly want to show you guys that. So I did double up on socks. This is just a pair of running socks. I'll quickly just show you. They look like this. I think this is the brand Features. And so I wore these underneath just a pair of cotton crew socks. I did still get some blisters and stuff on my toes, but I don't know if you can necessarily avoid that. But that was pretty much the only injury I guess I got. Obviously my knees, my hips, all of that was sore after the race, but my toes were just a little beat up afterward. And then I was pretty surprised that I didn't end up buying a new outfit for this, but I ended up just wearing what I had, what I was training in, what I was comfortable in. So that would be my biggest tip, just wear what you are comfortable in. So I actually wore Align shorts. I know that these aren't the best or the most recommended for running, but these are the Align short. They're just really comfortable, and they have a little pocket in here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I was able to fit a tampon. I needed to have that with me just in case, so I was able to fit a mini one of those, and also I had one of my goos that I used in there as well, so that was the perfect size for that. And then I wore this sports bra that I have just from Victoria's Secret. It is one that has kind of cups built in. It's just adjustable. Like I said, I've been used to it. I train in it, whatever. That was one of the reasons why I didn't go ahead and buy a new outfit, is because I was really looking into a lot of matching sets and stuff, and at the end of the day, they're just not super practical. They're cute, they're not practical, because I do need more support up top, and you know, if I got a sports bra that I needed a shirt to go over anyway, there's no point in having a matching set. So I just wore a Lululemon Swiftly Tech Racerback tank on top of it. This is the race length one, and I love it. I knew I wanted to wear a shirt rather than just wear a sports bra or something, because if I wanted to lift up my shirt and like wipe the sweat on it, I had that option. And then I also wore my Hokas. Probably the most important part is the sneakers. I wore my Hokas. These are the Bondi 8s. I love them. I did go, sorry, I keep touching my hair. I did go to a running store to get, not sized, but like talk to him and figure out what was going to be the best for me. I believe I tried on the Bondi 8s and the Cliftons. I do have very flat feet, and so I wanted to talk to a worker and just see what they had to say. He did have me walk for him to see if my feet rolled in or out when I landed, and basically he said that they really didn't, and so I didn't need anything specific for having flat feet, but if you do have flat feet, you might be recommended something else. So I definitely recommend talking to somebody and just kind of working through that. And then I did hold a water bottle with me. It has kind of a little pouch at the bottom that I was able to put another goo in, and I also took some Tylenol before the race to prevent any knee soreness that I might feel. Oh, and I also wore a visor. That's actually a huge tip. I was not training in a hat or a visor at all, but I knew obviously it was going to be pretty sunny, and Jacob says he likes to wear hats to kind of absorb some of the sweat. So that is exactly what I did, and it was the best decision that I made. I'm really happy that I ended up going with that. It definitely protected my face and eyes from the sun, and I'm trying to think of other things. I think that that's like most of the basics, and then I did take a few notes. I just wanted to make sure that I'm kind of mentioning everything. But basically my kind of like final thoughts, if I would do it again, that sort of thing. So I would definitely run another one. I'm really proud of myself that I even finished and did this to begin with. It was definitely a huge accomplishment. Oh, that is something that I haven't mentioned, is my pace, which I'm sure maybe if you're into running, that's like something that you'd want to know. My pace was pretty slow, and I don't care. That's not what I was doing this for, but I ended up finishing at 2 hours and 36 minutes and 13 seconds, I believe, which was an 11:55 pace. So like I said, not very fast at all, but that's pretty much just what I was looking to do. I'm not going to really like say much more about that. I am proud of myself for that time. Like I said, the time was really unimportant to me, especially on my first one. But kind of some things, I guess, that I towards the end was really kind of over was I was really feeling the urge to want to switch up my workouts, and I know that I probably could have incorporated a little bit more strength and cross training and stuff, but I just felt like I was so focused on running, and that's like all that I could do. So by the end, I was definitely just wanting to switch up my workouts. I also was just kind of over the amount of time that I needed to be running. I now feel like running for like an hour and a half, that seems like a good workout for me, but having to run like 2 hours is just a lot. It also is a lot for time management and stuff. I started off running in the mornings before work, but then with the time change and it being darker in the mornings, I ended up running later in the evenings, and you just have to allot that amount of time for your workout. So you had to give yourself, 2.5, an hour and a half, whatever it was. You had to give yourself that amount of time to run each day or every other day, whatever it was. And sometimes that was just hard, or it's a lot to think about or fit into your schedule. If you are trying to also have social plans, it's just, like I said, a lot in terms of time management. Also, being a female and feeling like I don't want to be out running when it's dark outside, and not wanting to always wait for Jacob and wanting to do things on my own, but not always feeling comfortable. It just became a lot with our schedules. So as much as I did enjoy it and definitely will keep running them, I think, don't hold me to that, but I feel like maybe once a year it would be fun to run a half marathon. But some things that I did really like about it is it was definitely the hardest thing that I have done physically and mentally in a long time. I just always felt really accomplished after runs. Obviously, you have that runner's high, all of those endorphins felt really great, but it was just hard. It was hard physically, it was hard mentally to get myself to keep doing that and get up every day before, not every day, but get up each time before work and get those runs in and do it. It was a lot, but I'm proud that I was able to do it. Also, I definitely noticed an improvement to my cardiovascular health. I got a Fitbit for Christmas, and so I was using that with my training, and I noticed that my resting heart rate was a lot lower by the end of my training. And so that was kind of just cool to see. It felt good that I was doing something good for my body, because I knew that I was in shape. I look in shape, but that doesn't mean that I am in shape. And so I liked that I was doing something healthy for my body. And overall, it is obviously a huge accomplishment if you have run a half marathon, if you've run a full marathon, if you've run a 5K, a 12, a 10K, whatever it is that you've run. It is all such a great accomplishment. And yeah, I feel like this is way longer than I was expecting it to be, but hopefully it was helpful for you guys. I honestly feel like I had so much more than I thought to say, so I'm sure that I missed some things, but hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment down below. I would love to answer them for you. But yeah, that is everything. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.